On today's show, Reggie Bullock scares us all, just like fireworks scare our dogs on the 4th of July. Could he be a Sixer? What trades could the Mavericks make with Philly? And are the Mavericks doubling, tripling down on Jaden Hardy as another ball handler? We'll talk about all that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Engstead, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. But the best way to help us grow the show is to comment anything below. Let us know, what trade do you think is next for the Dallas Mavericks? Is it a trade with the Nets? Trade with the Jazz? Trade with the Sixers? Talk about some of those options today. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, and contributor at Mavs.com, the trade machine maniac, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
So we're recording this on 4th of July night. Last 4th of July, Nick and I were holding sparklers on this podcast, singing the Slovenian national anthem. And it was a great moment.
It's on YouTube. Go check it out. It's on YouTube somewhere on our channel.
It is on YouTube. Shout out to Becca. Becca, for the Mavs, you said that looked like Gru. Okay? She said that looked like Gru.
Minions are big right now. Minions are in.
If you guys did not check out, we did a special bonus episode on the Slovenian national team, the World Cup qualifiers, kind of a look ahead to Eurobasket. I don't know, what was it, like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like it. It's on YouTube, so go listen to that, watch that. If you're going to follow along the Slovenian national team, because we're super excited for September, Eurobasket, Luka. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And the next game going to be August 25th is the next one that we'll do. And so we will cover all these like they're Mavericks games and probably accidentally call them the Mavericks several times in between. All right, on today's show, like we said, Reggie Bullock, is he going to be a Sixer? Because there was a social media mishap. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show it to you right now. But this popped up. Reggie Bullock posted on his Instagram a selfie with somebody, one of his friends or something, and in it the caption says, at Reggie Bullock, his handle said he's sliding to Philly next, and Reggie Bullock reposted it, and you're like, okay, well that could mean anything. That could just mean he's going to Philadelphia like as his next trip. And then the next one that he posted was with two other guys, and they posted at Reggie Bullock, next Sixer, eyes emoji. That's what was posted in this other person's Instagram story. Then Reggie Bullock reposted that too, and so it got everybody just thinking and confused, like interesting. Now why would Reggie Bullock post that? Why would Reggie Bullock now why would Reggie Bullock post that?
That's incredible.
If you're watching on YouTube, I have the Brian Windhorst memes up. So why would Reggie Bullock post that? And so then it got all of us thinking, what's going on with Reggie Bullock? Could he be a Sixer? And then Reggie Bullock posted on Twitter, "I can't post my homies is wild, LOL." Basically just squelching all of it and giving us rest. But there was a period of time where we were like, okay, is he going to be a Philadelphia 76er? And what does that mean?
Okay, I will say this, Reggie, you have to at least recognize that a fan base is going to freak out if you repost a couple of your buddies with the caption in the pictures
next
about
Sixer.
About you being a Sixer. So I think that's it'd be different if he posted a picture of like him and Joel, hanging out somewhere, and he's like,
love to play together,
Well, it's just like, I can't even post a picture of me and Joel together without y'all. But it's literally his buddies saying next Sixer, eyes emoji and all that. So,
and he reposted it like I agree with this, but apparently
hopefully it's nothing, because I freaking love Reggie. Yes. I love him on this team. He fit perfect. Some people would think he needs more than 17 minutes a game. And he just
I have to apologize that you felt that he should have played more.
I did think that, and I still do.
He was such a crucial part to this team, and he fits perfectly next to Luka. That, man, if Dallas entertains trading him after year one of this 3-year deal, then I don't know.
Let me finish that sentence for you there, friend. Then so help me God.
They just got to be bringing back help me
Nico Harrison, Mark Cuban, Jason Kidd, sweet 10-pound 8-ounce baby Jesus. Like, you better be bringing back something good, because Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith, the self-proclaimed Bang Bros, are just an incredible duo for the Mavericks, and like made the Mavericks identity so clear when those two guys finally got playing together and figured out how to defend together and started shooting the lights out. Like, that just made the Mavericks what they were this season, and the way that they could play small, the way that they could play with Brunson and Luka at the same time, because Reggie and Dorian could both kind of switch off and guard guards. Like, it's just, without Reggie Bullock, and if it's just like Dorian, and what if they bring back like Matisse Thybulle? They've been connected to Matisse Thybulle a lot. Like, okay, you replace Reggie Bullock with Matisse Thybulle. All of a sudden, you don't have to guard Matisse Thybulle. You don't have to guard him the way that you have to guard Reggie Bullock, where Reggie Bullock can hit 7 threes in a game. We've seen him do it in the AAC. Like, there's been incredible nights where he's gone off like that. And if you bring back a Matisse Thybulle, like, maybe he's a better defender than Bullock. I kind of think that he is. And so maybe that helps you in that area a little bit. But you don't have to guard him. And then all of a sudden you get rid of, like, Brunson is gone, then Reggie Bullock's shooting is gone, and it just makes the offense worse overall. It just caused so many more issues. And so we'll talk about a couple of trades and things that they can do. But yeah, people were concerned about Reggie Bullock and potentially going to the Sixers.
Well, I think Mavs fans, we're all just waiting on edge. We're all waiting for Kevin Durant stuff to drop. And it's really even more than that. It's like Durant, it's Kyrie.
I thought for sure it was going to happen today. 4th of July, just like last time.
Yeah, that was a moment we'll never forget.
When he went to the Warriors was 4th of July.
Yeah. And, the Donovan Mitchell stuff, if whatever you want to believe, if Utah's trying to keep him, if not, whatever. It's like there's so many big things that could drop and have ripple effects that I think, Mavs fans, we're all still waiting to see how Dallas just waiting to capitalize on some fallout of some things, or what are they waiting on if they are waiting to do something? And so, of course, this Reggie stuff happens on Instagram, and then, it's like, oh, maybe it's Philly. Maybe that's who they're waiting on to do a move with. And Philly's waiting to see how some things shake out before, and everybody's just on standstill there. So then it's like, okay, I went down the dark path, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to look at the Red Sabres for a little bit, of going to the dark side a little bit and saying, what if they did trade Reggie? What would be the purpose? What would the deal look like? All right. Are you ready for it?
Okay, I'm ready. I don't know if I'm physically ready, but I think I am.
Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle for Tim, Bertans, and Reggie.
No picks, just straight up.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm not saying I'm doing this. I'm just saying what could I see and what would be the reasoning behind it? And if you're Dallas, the reasoning behind it is, all right, you're switching out Tim for Tobias. So you're switching out Tim for kind of like a bigger version of him, of like a...
They can score off the dribble a little bit more, right? Like, can create some stuff. He's 6'9". He's a scoring like wing. And so he could go off for a 20-point, 30-point night on any given night. Like, I don't know if you want to rely on him to do that, because the Sixers have tried to rely on him and it has not worked out well for them. You can ask literally any Sixer fan. But it'll give you a little more shot creation.
Yeah, so you switch them out. You're going from Reggie to Thybulle. We've
already gone over that
for the price of getting off Bertans. Like, you're switching out both of those guys for the price of getting off Bertans' contract. I think the other reason why Dallas would entertain it is now you're lining up pretty much all your contracts outside of Luka and Dorian to come off your books in 2024, and you're lining up for this one, because Dinwiddie would come off the books at that point. Tobias's contract, Thybulle would be a restricted free agent at that point. And then your books are really clear, depending on obviously what you do from this point on, for like one bigger swing with Luka. And it's like Luka, Dorian, and like, hey, you're figuring out the rest of the roster like that. I just don't.
Because the Mavericks think that they can.
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
But like, why you don't do this if you're Dallas is, Reggie means so much to this team, and I think he does, and I think you're going. Another thing is it hurts your flexibility because now you're going back to the one player making $39 million,
Tobias.
a ton of money in Tobias, compared to splitting that up into multiple contracts that could help you with another trade moving forward type of thing. So that's another reason I don't like it. And it's the whole like Thibault stuff of like, he can't shoot. And so I'm not saying that this is an awesome deal at all, or I would do it. I'm just saying if Dallas did that, I at least see some of the reasons in which Dallas would talk themselves into it. I'm trying to be nice.
Well, coming up, let's talk about that idea. What if the Mavericks do decide, hey, the West is getting way tougher this year. We got a little worse. Let's maybe punt this year a little bit to try and clear up our cap space to go after a free agent because we think that
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
they're going to get a seat at the table. And if they're going to get a seat there, they have to have the money to get there. So let's talk about deals like that and other things coming up. And then I also want to talk about Jaden Hardy too, because there's some interesting things going on at the Mavericks that I think may point to Jaden Hardy being a big part of this picture going forward. So
You got your jersey yet?
Talk about all that and more coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Arcade 1-Up. If you, like me, have always looked at those arcade machines, I know that at my church growing up, we had like a Superman one, a Golden Tee one, we had a Ninja Turtles one. Like we had a bunch of these that they got donated from somewhere. And I was always like, that would be so cool to have one of those arcade machines in my house. And which one would you rather have? It's NBA Jam, right? NBA Jam is the one that you would want to have in your house. Arcade 1-Up has NBA Jam Shaq Edition, and they're going to give away a couple of them to some of us listeners right now. And you have to enter before July 8th. So we're running out of time to enter this. It's arcade, up.com/lockedon. Arcade, up.com. So arcade1up.com/lockedon to enter to win an NBA Jam Shaq Edition console for your house. If you don't win, most of you will not win. Only three people will win. You can go buy one of these, and they start at just $399. They're not thousands and thousands of dollars anymore. Some of us can purchase these. It's wild. If you got the space, you have a man cave, you have somewhere that you want to place these, you can get them at arcade1up.com. So go check it out. It's arcade1up.com/lockedon to enter the contest. All right, Isaac Harris, we've been talking about the Reggie Bullock. Is it not? Is it a rumor? Kind of not really.
Hopefully no.
It's sort of just a fake like social media situation that happened on 4th of July. Other than that, it was pretty quiet on the rumor front. Like nothing else really happened. But what would you think about this idea? So we talked about a potential Sixers trade that would be Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle coming back to the Mavericks, and Tim Hardaway Jr., Davis Bertans, and Reggie Bullock going to the Sixers, right? You're getting off of long-term money. You set yourself up in 2024, so not next summer, but the summer after that, to
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
To get a seat at the table and have max cap space. What would you think about a trade like that?
Hey, programming note real quick. I can't hear you. I think you hit a button.
Check 1, 2.
You're great now.
Check 1, 2. We back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. What would you think about a trade like that where the Mavericks clear cap space in a couple years and just say, hey, we got to take a big shot. We got to take a big shot somehow and get another all-star in here. What would you think about them punting in a couple of years to do that?
I don't think any version of punting is an option. I think when you have Luka, you have to be going all for it. I think it's the reshift of like a mindset of, okay, well, we didn't get our number one option. So can we thread the needle of, hey, we're still going to be really good, but there's a way. Can we shift to a sense of, can we be really good, but also keep a flexibility open to have one big shot here in a couple of off seasons type thing? This would be one of those moves to where I don't think that they would go into the off season with a move like this, but I think this would be we're going to pivot just a little bit and see, okay, Thybulle and Tobias, it's not like a net negative players. They would fit fine. They would fit fine. It's just, and I see why Philly would do this too. Philly's trying to load up on these wings and PJ Tucker, Daniel House, and these guys to go with, Embiid and Harden, and all three of these dudes, even Bertans. I mean, they want shooting around these guys. So it's like, I see why Philly would do that. And for Dallas' side, that would be the whole thing of, okay, I don't like anything in the form of, hey, we're going to punt and kind of, be bad a little bit this year, next year. You just can't do that with Luke at this level.
And I could totally see the Mavericks trying to spin it as this isn't a punt. Like, we really believe in Tobias and we really believe in Matisse Thybulle. We've been trying to go after him. He is a really good, high quality defensive wing. We needed to upgrade at the wings. And here we are doing that. And like, I could see them saying that, but in our minds, it would seem like a punt, even though the players coming back are kind of better than the players going out.
Well, they don't have their pick either. So there's no, yeah, even if people are in that camp of like the Mavs really trying to, like, you don't have your pick. So I'm hoping that this isn't true.
You know what I've thought?
We're just playing around with it.
This is a really random thought, but I've thought about that pick and the picks they traded for Porzingis. And the fact that they protected that 2023 pick like so many years out totally just hamstrung them for so long. Like it literally stopped them from trading a pick from the moment they traded Porzingis to this past pick, like or till whenever the draft comes, like that year. It's wild how much it just put them in pick trading jail, because you see these other teams that just trade multiple picks out, and the Lakers are talking about trading 2026 and 2028 picks, and the Mavericks can't do that until this New York Knicks pick in 2023 finally goes. And you might as well just waive the protections at a certain point and just move on with your life. Like, I kind of just want them to do that.
It's wild, the relationship the Knicks and Mavs have, especially now with Brunson is like the new layer of it, and Porzingis before, and picks and Bullock and all the Tim. Like, it's just wild. Frank. The connection, Frank, between the two teams. Can I throw at you just one? I know we're going to talk about Hardy in a second, but Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
are we at that point in the offseason?
Hold on.
Explain yourself.
Sorry. I sent you a thing today. I was like, because we're all asking ourselves the question, like, hey, what's Dallas waiting on? If they're waiting on something, it's like, all right, well, the Kyrie stuff to the Lakers. I'm like, so I was sitting there racking my brain. I'm like, how could Dallas be waiting on something with Kyrie and the Lakers if that's something? And it's like, if Brooklyn's like, hey, we don't want Russ at all. Like, nobody wants Russ.
Nobody does.
Like, nobody at all.
Does Mountain Dew still want Russ? Are they stuck in that contract? Has anyone talked to Mountain Dew?
OKC is just like, no, we don't want you back either. If
Russell Westbrook's bio on Twitter says hashtag why not, that's like been his slogan. Why not? There's a lot of reasons now. Like,
I was gonna say, I think every team is not. But like, what would it take? And if you're from Dallas's standpoint, if they hop in as the third team in it, and Brooklyn's like, hey, listen, we're getting 2 picks back from the Lakers. We'll call the league and around the league and say, will somebody take Russ and we'll give you one of those picks and just give us like 2, role player type of people. Would Dallas do it just for the cap space? We're not even talking about like the on-court fit. Would Dallas do Tim and Bertans and get Russ back with a first-round pick?
That's like a punt, right? Because unless they believe that he can play.
But is it a punt though? Like, is it a punt?
If
because Tim didn't play last year.
If they're just going to tell him to go somewhere else.
Would you immediately lose? I joked before our pod, it's like Nico would lose approval rating very fast if they traded for Westbrook and then Nico gets an oppressor.
We should do a pot. All the moves Nico could do to lose faith in the Mavs fan base. Like,
and then they do a presser.
Sign Rondo. Like,
what would the fan base be if Nico does a presser and he tries to sell us on the on-court fit of Russ?
Explain yourself.
Sorry.
We'd have to tell Nico to explain himself.
I'd be like, hey, Nico, so at 2:00 in the morning, I botched a question to you a long time ago.
I botched a question.
I don't know, botched it. Can I ask you to explain yourself now?
Explain yourself.
Sorry. Because I would like that. But no, like, would Dallas do it for a salary cap move of, I mean, he's an expiring contract, and that would be the only selling point of it. And you'd get a first round pick And it's like
an asset for a trade moving forward. Like you're just building up.
I'm over here. I'm just struggling, guys.
Well, let's talk about something fun, right? And that's Jaden Hardy. That's a young player that the Mavericks picked that they're high on, that we think that, may have a role in this rotation moving forward. Let's talk a little bit more about Jaden Hardy. So let's talk about him coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Built Bar. Isaac has something to tell you.
If you got free ones in the mail and I didn't, I'm going to fight you.
I did not. No, I paid for these with my money.
Okay. What is that?
The Coconut Brownie Chunk Puffs.
What? I
tried them. I have them in my house right now. I'll give you one of them if I ever see you again in real life.
I don't want to get COVID.
That's true. I do. I'm non-transferable starting like July 7th. So non-transferable. But Built Bar, they have a bunch of new flavors all the time. They're delicious. We love the puffs. I love the brownie batter puffs. I wasn't as big of a fan of the coconut brownie as I am of the brownie batter puffs. That bar is just an incredible bar. But they're protein bars, taste like candy bars. They're delicious. You can get them in the mail. Right now, they have raspberry lemonade as like the 4th of July flavor. So you can go check out those right now. Check out the coconut brownie chunk puffs. Those are brand new. And all these bars are pretty good for you. The coconut brownie chunk puff one is 160 calories, 15 grams of protein, 9 grams of sugar. So go check them out. It's built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. That's locked, the number 15, built.com. All right, Isaac Harris, we've been kind of batting this around a little bit. And when we talked about Goran Dragic yesterday, I kind of wondered.
Can I ask a Dragic question real quick? Sorry.
Explain yourself.
Sorry. Are we sure Dallas was the one who turned down Dragic? Like, are we 100% sure that Dragic wanted Dallas?
Not 100%, but that Stein tweet the other day when he said the Mavericks have interest in Dragic, but they also still want to keep their options open with another wing. Like that tweet to me said, hey, we're moving on from Dragic. And there was a tweet last year, I feel like that was sort of like that as well, where Dallas has some interest in Dragic, but blah, blah, blah. And I think you just look to the place where he went. Like, does he have a big role there? He would have a much bigger role in Dallas, I think.
Dragic's like, hey, so I did the Kyrie thing last year. And if y'all are even sniffing around that, I don't want to do that.
Again, that too. That could be a whole thing. Like, who knows? Like
anyway, sorry.
Luka looks over at Dragic on the bench playing Croatia, and he's like, hey, I think we're going to get Kyrie. Dragic looks back at him and says,
explain yourself.
Sorry. He's like, hey, well, I think I'm going to call Chicago back.
So Jaden Hardy, the Mavericks pick him 37th. They trade for him. They only trade 2 seconds for him. We all love the move. We love the upside of it. We love the idea. The Mavericks had him like 19th on their board overall, so they thought he was going to be a first-round pick. A lot of draft experts thought he was going to be a first-round pick. He played in the G League Ignite last year, led them in scoring, was like their main ball handler, like all this kind of stuff about Jaden Hardy. And now we have the Mavericks lose Jalen Brunson, not add any other ball handlers or anybody else in free agency, not even kind of go after one, or not even say that they're interested in adding another ball handler to replace Jalen Brunson. So what does that tell you about what they think about Jaden Hardy, and what do you think about Jaden Hardy, Isaac? Like, let's start there.
Yeah, I don't think it tells me anything about him yet, just because I still think they're going to like add another. I think it would tell me something if they go into the season and he's legitimately, it's like, oh, well, it's just going to be him or Frank as the third guy behind Dinwiddie and Luka. Then that would tell me something.
And that's where we are right now.
It's where we are right now, but I still feel like that they're going to add somebody in the next, little bit. Another ball handler at some point. What I think of him is exactly what Nico said in his presser of he's raw, he's young, he's super talented. I think he is a lot of fun, and he's a lot of fun and I think he's going to be a blast in summer league. Yep. Like, light him up, do your thing, chuck it 30 times. I don't care. And I think he's a lot of fun for fans to watch on YouTube. I was kidding you about it, but I was just kidding you about it, but he's a lot of fun for fans to watch on YouTube because he's super fun. And he was the number 2 overall prospect after Chet in that class going into college, G League and all that. So like he averaged over 30 points a game in high school. He can get a bucket, like all the stuff that you watch all of his highlights and you're like, dude, how is he not a lottery pick? And it's like, if he didn't play a game for the Ignite, is he in the lottery? Maybe.
It's what Shaedon Sharpe did.
Yeah, what Shaedon Sharpe did. So, but I started looking at some of these things and I watched some of his full games. Dyson Daniels was their like main ball handler, probably, but
it's like their main scorer, like their
main scorer, main go-to guy. But it's like when you watch him and you watch like some of his full games, or like I watched all of his possessions in which he shot the ball at the rim this past year, you start seeing a little bit of like, oh, okay, there's a lot of maturity you got left in the game. If he gets a lot of minutes, I'm just going to tell you, he's going to drive Mavs Twitter like insane, because you watch him in some of these Ignite games and you're like, oh, like that was your defender, or what decision was that? Like, what were you thinking in that moment? You have so many of those moments, but then you're also saying, oh, nice play.
Yeah.
Like, that was nasty. So there's just the inconsistency of it. I think will rattle some Mavs fans early on. That's why I say I'm excited, but I'm more excited for year 2, year 3 Jaden Hardy instead of year 1.
This is where I am too, is that I'm excited to see it.
Are you?
And I want to see it happen, and I want to see him get minutes, because it's like an unknown. It's, hey, if this thing works, this could be incredible for the Mavericks. Like, this could be, hey, could he replace Jalen Brunson in year 1? Like, I don't know. Like, what if all of a sudden he goes to the NBA and it's easier for him than the G League was for whatever reason? What if he gets coaching that he had never gotten before, and all that kind of stuff? Like, if it works out the best of the best, that's what it is. And so that intrigues you, and that's fun. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you have a 6'4", almost 7 foot wingspan guy that can shoot the lights out and is just this really interesting player for the Mavericks. But like you said, raw, like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's just like a disaster. Like if Rick Carlisle was still coaching his team, he would not play him at all. You know what I mean? Like, he would.
Oh, him and Rick. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine it. I can't.
Rick didn't play Jalen Brunson a lot of the time, so in his rookie year, he was like the safest rookie there was.
Yeah.
So, but I think he may have a role, because if everything stays the way that it is, like, he may get a shot, and they may see how it works out, and then they may probably add somebody else midway through the year, and it'll be a big topic of conversation, because we're stuck on this. Hey, they got to add another ball handler, because the Mavericks just made it work with 3 guys, the 3 ball handlers. They finally had enough guys, and more than just Luka and maybe a backup point guard, to make the offense work. And that's how the Mavericks finally found success, and we want them to do that again. Could that be Jaden Hardy? I don't think so in year 1, if it's going to be like really good basketball back to the way that it was last year, or even taking a step forward this year. I don't think that they can get away with that with just Jaden Hardy as the replacement. But at this
he's going
point,
to have some moments.
I'm ready for him. I'm ready for all the moments.
Well, I meant like just like single plays moments type of thing, that he's going to be the new, like, it feels like every year Mavs fans like will find their guy that's buried on the bench and be like, dude, if he just got minutes.
I think it was like Marquise Chris this year sometimes.
Moses Brown at the beginning of the season.
Let's go. Bring on Moses
Why
Brown.
isn't Mo playing? He could give us 2020. And it's like, it is Josh Green for the longest time of like, why isn't Josh Green starting? And it's like, Jaden Hardy's going to get in some of these fourths. They're going to be up by 20.
Yeah. It's
going to be the blowout squad. And he's going to do this behind the back crossover, break somebody, 360 layup. And we're going to like, holy crap, was like, what just happened? And he's going to have I think he's going to have some highlight fun moments in Summer League. If he goes in Summer League and drops like 35 in game 2, I'm not shocked. Like, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah, he can be.
And somebody's going to tweet me and say, hey, did you change your opinion on him this year? No, I haven't. Like,
yeah, he could show up and be like, oh, he doesn't belong here, right? That's what you want from a guy in Summer League, is he shows up and he plays one game and you go, oh, he's way better than everybody else here and doesn't belong. That's like the idea, like what Keegan Murray did the other night in the California Classic, where he just shows up and is like super efficient, like 27, and you're like, oh dang, like, he doesn't belong here.
Yeah, so maybe like him and Josh Green could have some moments together, or dang, no, Josh ain't playing. But Hardy,
was that a shot at Josh? A shot at the Mavs? Like,
so Hardy. One of the things I've seen thrown out there about him is
explain yourself.
Is his finishing at the rim. And I know I said this before on a pod when we were talking about Hardy, of watching some of those things, that it's not. When I was looking at his numbers and like why he was inefficient at the rim, because he was like 0.08 or 0.8 points per possession, had a poor rating on synergy of shots around the basket. I'm like, all right, what happened? It's not because of a lack of touch. It's not because he's small, so he just got blocked all the time. It's decision making with him. It's the people challenging him vertically and him trying to do the wraparound, one-handed, off balance, just toss it up. It's the trying to do too much at times. It's the lack of floater. He has touch, but I don't know if he's like fully developed a floater yet. And it's some of these things that I think he'll learn and grow into that will make because some of his finishes are incredible. And it's like, okay, if you couldn't finish at the rim, you're not pulling off moves like that. And so he can. It's just a matter of trying to decide on these moments of when you want to go for it or not. So I'm not worried about that. His acceleration is a blast. His ball handling creation is a blast. Like, sign me up. It's I've thrown Jordan Poole's name out there different times. He is the flamethrower guy off the bench. I don't know what his like ceiling is, but if you can turn him into, that's the dream scenario for Dallas. Especially, and I'll take it down this road that some fans might not want to hear, because if you're like all in on Hardy's future in Dallas, he could be their one like hope, one last hope for the route to a second star. Like, if he develops this year and like really hits, because we just lost Brunson. And one of the things that Mark Stein was talking about in a pod not so long ago, saying that was Dallas's chance at the second star, because that was going to be your young cornerstone piece in that bigger deal. To where, what if we're a year from now, or at a year and a half from now, or going into, 2 years, going into the summer of 2024, and Hardy's like, he's developed into a Jordan Poole person for Dallas. And it's like, okay, now he's like one of your like centerpieces in a type of deal for that. So that his development here is like low key kind of important. So, but I mean, I'm so excited for it. Like, it could go so many different directions. And I think he's gonna, when he's at the top of his game, he's gonna like grab Mavs fans by their heart and be like, hey, I'm part of this.
But there's not pressure on it, right? Like, if it doesn't
hopefully
work out,
there's not. Hopefully there's
if
not.
it doesn't work out, it's fine. Like, they second round pick, and it is what it is. They basically used 1 second round pick on him, right? Because and we got to see on him and traded another one for him. So
we got to see how the contract stuff shakes out. Especially the Brunson stuff has left a bad taste in our mouths of how they did the last year of Brunson's deal and all that. It's we've seen like Tim Cato, I think, reported that McGee was getting all the the taxpayer mid level. Well, if that was the case, then Hardy's not getting the multi-year deal that cuts into the tax. Stein has talked about multiple times that Hardy is getting a portion of that tax mid. So let's see how the contract shapes out too. Is it it doesn't look like it's a two-way. It doesn't look like it's like a standard two-year deal. If it's a multi-year deal, like 3 or 4 year deal, then it's probably going to cut into the tax mid. So like, we just haven't seen how that's going to shake out yet.
And it hasn't been announced officially yet, right? Like, some of this stuff still hasn't been announced officially. The JaVale McGee thing still hasn't been announced officially. Like, a lot of stuff we have to.
Yeah,
wait.
It can't for another few days. I will say this: he had his introductory presser or media session back last week.
Hardy did. And I thought one of his like coolest things that he talked about was, he's like, man, I know like his path to playing, or like the thing that the coaching staff has already told him about. He's like, I know I got to play defense. Yeah. And like, if you want to say it's cliche or not, but like that, it is
to kids' defense. But Rick said it for so long, and we never were a good defense. So kids said that and actually like transformed the defense.
Yeah.
And for them to already say that about Hardy, and for him to already be talking about that, a guy who averaged over 30 in high school and is such a good offensive player, to immediately talk about, hey, I know I got to bring it on the defensive end. That's it. That's the stuff you want to hear from a guy like him. I'm excited for him. I think he should be a lot. And starting next week, it should be a blast. He made Summer League like fun for Dallas.
Yeah, he made us go from, do we want to go? Like, I don't know. I don't think I want to go anymore. To like me calling you the other day, being like, dude, should we actually go to Summer League just to see Jaden Hardy play? Like, it's exciting. And then
we both had health stuff happen, and we're like,
oh my gosh,
we couldn't go.
We've beat around this a little bit, but I legit have COVID. I tested positive on Saturday, and here we are.
Yes, I didn't have COVID. I had to deal with some other things, but it's like we both had health stuff happen, and now we're not going to Summer League. So
Brunson leaves and our health leaves both of us. I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but there you go. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. We will be back for the rest of this week. Free agency rumors, all kinds of stuff, whatever the day brings us tomorrow. And make your second.
I think the Durant stuff happens on Tuesday. Tuesday.
I hope so, man. It's just dragging on. Suns fans are driving themselves insane. They are. Their Reddit is just like nuts. For your second listen, go listen to Locked On NBA. Great stuff today. It's pretty sure it's Tony East and David Ramil. So go check out all their stuff. Locked On NBA on the YouTube channel or the podcast. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.